They've been with us for at least 9,500 years. That's the age of a Cypriot burial site where a human was laid to rest beside a cat. Clearly not a wild animal, but a domesticated companion. Since then, cats and humans have struck a curious deal. They hunt rodents in our homes and, in return, keep the spoils for themselves. But our relationship with cats hasn't always been smooth. In this episode of UZ, we explore how cats have been viewed throughout history, as divine beings, devilish messengers, protectors, and even witches' companions. Did you know that the ancient Persians may have defeated the Egyptians by carrying cats into battle, knowing their enemies wouldn't dare strike sacred animals? We'll tell you who was tortured into confessing their worship of feline-headed idols, why people in a Belgian city throw toy cats off a tower every year, and what Prophet Muhammad did when a cat was sleeping on his robe and he needed to leave. Cat face, the sacred cats of Egypt. The Egyptians were the greatest cat lovers of the ancient world. Cats were not only kept as pets but worshipped as sacred creatures in temples. The sun god Ra was sometimes depicted as a cat fighting the forces of darkness. The goddess of light, Batet, always appeared in feline form. Her city, Bubastis, housed both her temple and one of the largest feline necropolises ever discovered. When a cat died, Egyptians shaved their eyebrows and entered a 70-day mourning period, just like for a family member. Greek historian Diodorus of Sicily once wrote that in 59 BC, an angry mob lynched a Roman for accidentally killing a cat. Herodotus added that during house fires, Egyptians would rescue their cats before valuables. Shield cats used in warfare. A legend says Persian invaders in 525 BC carried sacred animals, including cats, in front of their troops. Egyptians, unable to harm their own gods, surrendered. But in time, Egypt fell to Rome, and with Christianity's spread, the reverence for cats faded. Phoenician ships took them to Greece, and from there cats marched triumphantly across the continent, from Kievan Rus to Britain. In 10th century Wales, a kitten was worth 1 penny, the price of a lamb, and a full-grown cat could cost 4. Vikings adored cats too and took them on voyages for pest control. Dragon cats in Asia. Japanese emperors wrote poetry about their cats. Emperor Yuta described his black cat as a silent, dark dragon moving through mist. The Japanese first encountered cats between the 5th and 7th centuries, when the animals were already domesticated globally. The most prestigious cat in Japanese history was a courtly feline in the 10th century, given the title of Chief Lady-in-Waiting of the Inner Palace, a rank higher than top poets at court. Open-book cats in Scripture and the Inquisition. The Bible mentions cats only once, in the book of Baruch, to point out the absurdity of idol worship. But this passage wasn't controversial until the Crusades, Muslim-Christian conflicts, and the rise of the Inquisition. Medieval Europeans, driven by fear of the unknown and anti-Muslim sentiment, as Muslims loved cats, began to associate felines with witchcraft and Satan. Pope Gregory IX's Vox in Rama, 1233, condemned devil worship rituals involving a black cat statue. From then on, especially black cats were drowned, burned, thrown from towers, and hanged. Inquisition records describe trials where women were executed alongside their pet cats, unless the animal had a white patch, called an angel's mark, that spared it from death. Fire cats and the Black Plague. Anti-cat campaigns peaked in the 13th to 14th centuries, right around the time of the Black Death. With fewer cats to kill rats, Europe became more vulnerable to plague. Meanwhile, Jewish communities which welcomed cats and practiced strict hygiene suffered lower death rates. This led to horrific pogroms. In 1348 alone, thousands of Jews were killed or burned alive across France, Germany, and Switzerland. In total, over 500 Jewish communities were destroyed, partially due to myths about cats. Performing arts, dancing plagues, and cat killings. In 1344, in Metz, France, a bizarre outbreak known as St. Vitus dance saw hundreds fall into fits of hysteria, flailing, shrieking, and hallucinating for days. Locals blamed a demonic cat spirit. For the next 400 years, Metz residents burned 13 cats annually in iron cages. The dancing epidemic never returned. Cruel cat-related rituals were widespread. In Bohemia and Pomerania, cats were killed in fields to protect crops. In Denmark, they were sealed in barrels and struck by horsemen until dead. The killer was crowned Cat King. In England, cats were buried alive under new buildings for luck. One such mummified cat was found in the Tower of London. Party Popper the Cat Parade. In Ypres, Belgium, cats used to be thrown from a cloth hall tower. In the 1950s, the town began redeeming itself with a yearly cat parade. Now, toy cats are tossed instead. We previously talked about Ypres in our episode on chemical warfare. Mosque cats in Islam and Orthodoxy. According to hadiths, Prophet Muhammad had a cat named Muetza. One day, when Muetza was sleeping on his robe and the Prophet was called to prayer, he cut around the cat so as not to disturb her. In another tale, a cat saved the life of Muhammad's companion, Abu Huraira, literally, father of cats. In Islam, cats are pure. They may enter mosques and sometimes live in them. In contrast, Orthodox Christianity, unlike medieval Catholicism, considers cats clean. Cats are the only animals allowed into churches. By Catholic standards of the time, this made the Orthodox borderline idolaters. Pawprints' final thoughts. Today, at UZ, we have 7 cats on our team. How many do you have? Or maybe you're part of Team Dog. Let us know in the comments. Well, if you enjoyed this story full of mystery, myth, and meows, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us tell more untold stories from history. Thank you.